Hey everyone, this is Gleb Bakhmutov, and today this video is special because with me is an amazing Cypress plugin author, Dennis Bergevin. Dennis, how are you? Welcome to, I guess, my YouTube channel. Hello.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Gleb. It's good to see you in person for the first time.
Well, virtual in person, right?
Virtual, yeah.
Like I'm in Boston. Where you are, Dennis?
I'm in Kalamazoo, Michigan, so like the
Kalamazoo?
west. Yeah, they do the mitten, so it's
Yeah.
like over here. If the stream is reversed, I'm sorry, but
I just want to point out that Michigan, right, has the upper part too, right?
yeah, the Upper
But that's not
Peninsula.
included in the mitten, right? But otherwise, you'd have.
Yep. Yeah,
um, I've been to Kalamazoo once back when I was in college. Made a trip, so that was fun.
nice.
What do you do, Dennis?
Yeah, so I'm working a software testing space. I've had a number of different titles like QA engineer, software development engineer, and test. And currently, that's what I'm doing. I'm working at a personal loan financial company
Mhm.
called Reach Financial. We test around Salesforce, so there's a lot of things that are interesting with that, and probably for a different conversation. But definitely cool challenges to work with. And but yeah, I'm excited to chat about these specific Cypress plugins. Been really excited to work inside of the Cypress ambassador community, and I've always been excited learning from the work that you've been doing. I've always looked up to everything, so excited for this opportunity.
I appreciate kind words. I'm excited to show two of your plugins. I mean, this project that I use as an example of grep tools. So I have my plugin for actual test tags, right?
Yep.
But you have, I believe, three plugins here. So you have Cypress CLI Select, Cypress Plugin-Filter-runnables, and Cypress Plugin-Grep-boxes. So already like 50% of plugins in this example are yours. And today we're going to look at two of them, right? So we want
Yep.
to show people plugin-grep-boxes and filter-runnables. And I already installed the plugins in this project. And why don't we start with grep-boxes, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Um, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to actually disable both plugins so we can see Cypress how it looks before, and then
Hmm.
we'll enable it and we'll see how it looks after. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just commented out from a support file. Let me start the app and Cypress. npm run dev, which starts the server, open Cypress, and end-to-end testing. And I have a couple of specs, but the one spec that I'll show is app spec because it has a lot of tests.
Hmm.
And by default, it just runs them all, right?
Yep. Hmm.
And I'm not sure about you, Dennis, but what's your rule of thumb about grouping specs, or how long a spec should be? How many tests should it have? Do you have any specific rule?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to like kind of the things that you want to see in a test, and then start to discover in that the time frame that you want to see in a test, like what kind of things you're seeing. If there's too many things, then start to wonder if it's better for stability and reliability for that feedback getting to you, that it's either broken into a few or broken into two. But it's starting to reach a level of too much feedback in one test in trying to encompass a user journey of a certain sort. It's a question to be asked at one point or another.
Right. So this spec is large, right? You can
Mhm.
see it clears completed, tests an item, new to-dos, no to-dos. So kind of like just a knapsack of all the specs. And inside this spec file, let me just switch to VS Code. I'm using test tags, right? So
Mhm.
Cypress has a plugin, Cypress grep, and you are allowed to add test tags to individual tests or to the suite. In this case, I had smoke, I had new to do, and I actually have TypeScript that tells me which tags are allowed. So I don't accidentally add something that's not there. But even this one spec has some of them. Unfortunately, we don't see them right here.
Mhm.
And anytime we open this file, we have to run all the tests, even if we're like interested in like running, like let's say this particular test, right?
Yeah.
So which plugin should we turn on first if we want to run just like a single test or something?
Yeah, so the grep boxes does come in play, but actually before we switch into that piece, you might want to demonstrate the spec tags that you have now in 2.1 in your console. You can kind of show the undercover of what will be to come on the screen once we enable grep boxes.
Uh, let's see. So, Okay, so you want me to show the tags that are available, right?
Yeah, you do that in the browser as well, cypress.env, and then spec tags, just kind of show under the hood what the tags will show.
Okay, so you want Cypress env. Let me bump the font, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
if you're not sure, just call Cypress
Yep.
env, right? With no arguments. That will tell you all the things. So the spec tags is the thing you are talking
Yeah.
about. And this
Yep.
is something you added to SiteGrep by opening a
Mhm.
pull request, right?
Yeah.
And to expose the tags available in every suite, every test. So we can see that, let's say, the first test adds 4 to-dos. It has effective test tag smoke.
Hmm.
One thing I want to say, why we have effective test tags, because if you imagine a test inside the suite and the suite has its own test tag and then the test has another test tag, the test actually has effectively 2 test tags, right? One from a parent suite and one of its own. So
Right.
we don't just say test tags, we can accumulate all of them from the parents. So smoke, adds item, has new to do, and so on. So we actually have, we do know test tags for each test. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and this was key. As small of as an addition it was, when we opened the spec in the browser, especially, there wasn't a clean way to get a glance across the whole spec, or if you're doing all of them at the same time, just being able to see all of those specs and
Right.
seeing each of the tests and their tags. So this was the kind of the catalyst to what we'll show next.
So one thing I want to say that the tags for test tags in Cypress are a third-party plugin, right? So there's one official plugin, there is my plugin. They kind of diverge now, but it's not something native to the core of Cypress, and that's why, for example, they were not exposed. You don't have access usually to the test tags from inside the tests.
Mhm.
With my plugin, with your addition, it now is available. But it would be nice if test tags were the part of a core.
Yeah.
But at least we can do it ourselves, right?
Yeah, it's always good to get your hands dirty and do things.
Exactly. So one thing I want to do is look at the README for your Cypress plugin grep boxes. So
Mhm.
let me just bring it on the screen. Okay, so right here, grep boxes.
Mhm.
So you have pretty busy GitHub account. So this shows the plugin boxes with this little check marks, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So the addition there being the colored boxes, it's upon the name of the grep boxes. I was thinking about pills that Playwright uses for their tags, and I was thinking I'll just follow along with the name of the repo and just kind of make them more boxy shaped. But yeah, it'll show your tags. Similarly how you showed in the spec tags, it'll pick up the effective test tags for each of the tests. Um, there were some slight modifications I had to do if you were running in, I think, Cypress versions 13 and 14, because there's a little bit different UI. I had to work with in 15, a little bit different UI. You'll notice in 15, the screenshot being, you don't have the box, the checkbox on the suite. And the reason for that started to come from how they've now, Cypress team adds a new kind of division or delimiter between nested suites. And I wanted to keep it simple, at least for now. And if you have a test that falls inside of the suite, it will for now be selectable still, but you have to select the test rather than the suite.
Yeah.
And then now the new test tags also are a nice addition to this repository.
What I appreciate about this plugin, it's very easy to use. So just install it as a dev dependency and literally just import or require it. So let's do this. So this is my support file, and I'm just going to uncomment because I already have it installed. Now, you do suggest in the Cypress config file to have this environment settings. What do they do?
Yeah, so in the UI, it really is an enabler. When you are filtering inside of the UI or in run without in the headless mode, you will start to see the tests that don't fit the criteria that you're grepping for. And in that case, it's just visually a helper to not have them visually on the screen so that they don't take up room for your eyes to start to take away. Don't
Yeah,
look at this.
you want to completely like hide them, right?
Yes.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
well, you just see a bunch of skip tests. So I'm just set it to true so we don't see the filtered out.
Correct. Yeah.
So one is for filtering all the specs,
Mm-hmm.
but don't have any test tags of interest. And now one for filtering the tests inside the spec file. That's okay. Oh, well, they already are here, right?
Yep.
So you can see that the smoke test tag is shown and there is a box, right? So
Yeah.
the box is for selecting tests that you want to run. So if you select a couple and you say, I only want to run this test whenever there is like a spec file change, right? Then I have to use this button.
Yes. Yep. So similarly as it was before in previous versions of grep boxes, you can still select tests by their title. And so the boxes effectively are doing that.
Right. Now, one thing you might notice that the boxes are gone. So this test just stay selected, right?
Right. Right.
And what happens if I run all the tests?
You can go ahead, rerun them all.
You see?
Yep.
Or if I press R, which is kind of how I run the test usually, right?
Yep.
Those 3 tests, because I checked those boxes, will run by themselves. The rest will be completely omitted, right? From UI, which is excellent. And I mean, you can still open everything. Like the UI works the same way.
Yep.
Perfect. And if I want to go back and run all the tests,
Just re-click the button there, which would show that you're unfiltering.
Unfiltering is an interesting word, I would say. Okay, so
Had to get creative.
One question that I wanted to ask you when I saw the UI, how did you pick the colors? Because they actually match the Cypress like greenish.
Oh yeah,
kind of nicely.
I kind of stole a little inspiration from Playwright. So there is work that they do inside their UI that shows tags and the --UI mode. And right now it's kind of using in a hash structure. So it looks at the string for your tag and then hashes it. And for me, I have a list of colors that are predefined, and I look at like kind of where the hash lies as far as the length of the predefined list, and then choose one of them based on where your hash lies. So I'm kind of toying with that idea. I'm not really sure if I want to keep it, but I'll kind of see and wait if there's any feedback from others. If they're like, hey, I want a more customizable color, or maybe I don't want colors at all. I don't know. We'll kind of play with that for now. But
will the colors repeat if I have a lot of test tags?
Like Playwright, you might see that as well. Yes. So if you actually use Playwright's feature, you'll start to see that colors can repeat as well, or get really similar. I guess for me, my eyes, the shade of the color can get very similar to the others.
And because you're using hash, for example, smoke tag would have the same color, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can kind of get used to it. Perfect. I think this is very nice. Okay, so this was grep boxes where you can just select 1 or 2 or several tests and hide everything else. So that was nice.
Yeah.
What happens if I click? There is no special meaning for clicking on tab, right? It's not like it's.
Yeah, so if you unfilter right now and then click new to do, for instance, because you have many of them. So this, if you click the tag new to do, you can then see all the tags running at the same time that are new to do. Like Playwright, this is doing something in the fashion of when you click a tag in Playwright, it would see the tag propagate to the search, which is something that I'm thinking about adding when we talk about the filter-runnables plugin next. But right now what I'm doing is, since it's attached inside of grep-boxes plugin, which does not have a filter piece to it, it will run that specific tag.
It's so convenient because if you have like lots of tests, especially if you use like run all specs, right? If you have all of them together and you work on a feature, you want to test that feature first, right? So you say you work on new to-dos, you're like, okay, if those things run, then I'm gonna after that unfilter and run all the tests because now I know my feature is done. I just want to verify everything else. So it's clicking on a test tag is just perfect UI.
Yeah. It gets a little tricky when you add a lot of tags. So There were some things I had to make inside of the container. All the runnables are in here. When you have more than a few tags and they start to really kind of need an expansion to the side, I had to change the way that all of the elements fall into play, so they'll end up going to the next line in that same runnable, and they don't go crazy in the container, because that's something I had to add. But they should fit in a way that makes sense, at least once you have a couple more. So
yeah, you can see, but imagine if you have a lot of task tags, right?
Yep.
How the title and the task tags are displayed. It becomes like a major decision. All right, well, here's my problem. I don't want to manually select, right, each test. I just want to say, okay, I want to run all the tests with, let's say, title having a word input in it. Right? And how can I do this? Can I do it with grep boxes?
Well, you can utilize this new plugin that I just made called filter-runnables. The filter-runnables actually works without the need for your cygrep plugin. So actually, you can add filter-runnables to a new Cypress project with no plugins. And a lot of the inspiration for filter-runnables is a input that you'll see very similar to the side input where you can search for specs from inside a spec in the UI mode.
Right here.
Similar.
We can say like, right.
Yep. So I'm basically stealing a lot of the Tailwind CSS that they're using there, and just kind of putting it in so it looks more native to the test runner, just inside of this this view right here that you have on your screen.
So let me enable that plugin.
Yeah.
And again, this is really simple. Just import or require it.
Yep.
Save a file, and voila. We have a little input box now all of a sudden at the top of the command column.
Yep.
And here I can filter. So let's say edit. So it does text search, right?
It does text search, and it also tags as well. So if you wanted to do smoke, it'll do that, or at the @ symbol, it's whether you have that. Now you can also do multiple searches. So if you did smoke and then semicolon, and then after semicolon, if you wanted to add another search.
Okay, so for example, ads for to-dos.
Yeah, or if instead of the comma, just doing a semicolon, right?
Semicolon, okay.
Yeah, semicolon, then you could do the @ what is the other tag you have? New to do.
Okay, so,
yeah.
So one is and, another one is or operator, right? So like smoke or new to do.
Yeah. So I did do the semicolon to split the groups of the searches, mostly because I do feel like that may be the best way of delimiting like groups. Most people wouldn't have a semicolon involved inside of their test title or suite title, but that's also open for maybe a future iteration if there are some feedbacks from people. Hey, I actually use semicolons a lot. We'll rethink that. But this also, if you added your search and you run the tests, it will persist that group that you filtered. So you have filtered smoke. If you use the standard native rerun button in the Cypress UI, it'll keep those tests until you remove it here. However, if you switch your spec file in the UI mode, say you pop open the spec search and you picked another spec to run, or you go back to the main menu and leave this page, it will erase that search so that you have a blank slate for your new spec.
Well, I had a question though, right, from just something I ran. So imagine I'm going to stop running. I'm going to filter, and I'm going to, let's say, use the name of a tag, right?
Yeah.
And how do so I run all the tests?
So if you run all the tests, it is running all of the tests, but just limiting your view to what you filtered. Yeah. So
okay,
it's
more like you're looking at results while running the tests.
Correct. Yeah. So out of the box, from just an open Cypress project that has no plugins, you added the filter runnables. This is giving you that ability without any other extra juice in the box, that you can now see specific tests when you're running the spec. And then after, if you're really wanting to dial down and debug a specific test without the visual mess around you from other tests.
Right. So I really need to like do it and then just see it. Is there a way to, similar to grep boxes, to just run those two tests?
With the filter runnables, not out of the box right yet, but that could be something I'm thinking about for the future. Yeah.
Yeah, so they like play nicely together, because right now if I run, it's kind of weird that I see only two tests, right? And one finished, but then there's some extra tests that, I mean, there's always room for like more features, more stuff, more amazing.
Yeah, I'm trying to stand them up right now as almost individual, but I should look for ways that we can bridge them if you're using both. Right now, I wanted to see that the filter runnables is actually accessible for those who maybe don't use cygrep, but then we can add on future pieces to that filter runnables if needed.
Right. But one easy way would be, once you filter runnables, right, maybe have a checkbox that literally just checks all these boxes if they're available, right?
Yep.
And then you can just run those two tests easily, or whatever filter. Dennis, this is amazing job. One last question I had. You call it filter runnables because what's a runnable in Cypress?
So I guess I got too nitty gritty with the title, but it was best for myself at the time. But now I guess it's set. So each of these runnables on the side here, when you're clicking it, it's a test runnable. So in the DOM, the Cypress GUI uses a runnable, and they also use it in a lot of their underlying logic to say, this is a test that you have some characteristics about. So all the environment variables and state and context and parent and all the associations kind of stem from a title called a runnable. So I kind of use that name as I'm kind of filtering away a runnable, if you will, in the UI.
I wonder if I lose like size state, do they have?
They should have a runnable down there. Yep.
You see a runnable, right? And there are hooks, which is like before each, after each, there are hooks, and then the runnable is the test, really, if you think about. Okay, well, wonderful job. Can people find it on official plugins page from Cypress?
Yet to be done for filter runnables, how new it is, but will be done. And grep boxes and a number of the other plugins I've authored are also on the official plugins page for Cypress.
Excellent. Dennis, thank you so much for taking time to show everyone these plugins. Everyone go check them out. Anything you're working on or any future plans?
Yeah, there's a couple other plugins if you're interested. I've kind of drifted a little bit more into the terminal zone. I love terminal tools. So on my GitHub profile, you might want to check out some other plugins. Some are more playwright oriented. Some are unaffiliated to a specific framework. But go ahead and take a look for yourself and see if any of those are good for your workflow, good for yourself. If you want to check them out, get some ideas. They're all there for you.
I'll put the link to Dennis's GitHub profile in the description of this video. Dennis, thank you so much. If you're ever in Boston, Gleb, we should get together, okay?
Sounds good, Gleb. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Take care.
All right. Yep.